Welcome, friends, it's the Movie Film Podcast. Movie Film Podcast, enjoy the show. Zach and Sean and Ryan are talking about movies. Movie Film Podcast on the radio.
Welcome to Movie Film. This is episode 43, brought to you by Mr. Boy Productions. My name is Zaki Hassan, and I'm joined once again by my good friend Brian Hall.
Hey, Brian Hall here.
And Sean Coyle.
Mac, we're boned.
Foreshadowing. Foreshadowing. A little peek at things to come.
I'm going to say...
Or something like that. Isn't that called a hook? Where you dangle something at the head of the show that's going to come up later?
Let's not talk about what you're dangling, Sean. I don't think that's appropriate for a family show. I'm going to go ahead and say Point Break.
What?
No. What?
I'm just kidding. That was from Speed.
Yes, sir.
It was from Speed, yes.
Speed, yeah. We may or may not talk about that at some later point. we shall see. Well, gentlemen, I feel like I haven't talked to you guys in a little while, so fill me in here. What's new and what's exciting? Sean, how's your job treating you?
Thanks. You know, it was funny. I was actually ready to rib you a little bit, like, guys, how come you never ask me about my job? And here you did. You asked me about my job. So thank you.
Fooled you.
My job is pretty wonderful. I'm not going to lie. It's pretty awesome. Making cartoons for a living, first time directing. It's been pretty amazing. A learning experience, and it's a crap ton of work, and it's a crap ton of extra hours that I wasn't really prepared for. But yeah, I'm proud of the work that has been done so far.
Yeah. You're starting to get stuff back, right? You're starting to see what some of the animation is going to look like. And
I wish I could tell you about some of this stuff, but I'm sure I'm not allowed to really talk about it.
Yeah.
Well, hopefully, as it gets closer, you can fill us in on all the nitty gritty, the meat and potatoes.
Yeah.
All I will say is that there was a brief scene in an episode where I wanted to model a background character after John Candy from Planes, Trains.
Mm-hmm.
And the legal department shot it down. They're like, no, we can't do that.
Can you model background characters on us?
Yes, but you would have to sign waivers and all sorts of contract stuff to say that we're allowed to use your likeness and you don't expect any money and this and that and the other thing.
Well, I'm out.
Brian wants to market a line of Brian action figures, so this would conflict with that.
Yeah.
They wouldn't really be action figures because they wouldn't really do anything. They wouldn't have the kung fu grip. They'd just have like the chicken wing grip.
Yeah, it'd be an action figure for incidental number 54.
So we usually start things off with Sean's shows. So are there any new Sean's shows?
Downton Abbey season 3 ends on the mother of all cliffhangers that you do not see coming.
You know what? I want to be honest. I never saw this coming. I never saw Sean being like, well, on Downton Abbey.
I know, every week.
No, and I like it too. So it's fine, but it's just so funny. I'm surprised and I am delighted that you're enjoying the show.
It's quite.
I just want to say something here. Yes. I am not allowed to talk about Dallas on this show, and yet every week you talk about Downton Abbey.
We're not stopping you from talking about Dallas.
Well, you guys make fun of me and you call me mean names.
We sure don't.
No.
Well, then let me tell you about Dallas. No, I'm actually not caught up on Dallas, so I've been hoisted on my own petard right now.
So there you go, Zachy.
Yeah,
I know. Fair enough. All right, so we've got a couple of new releases out here that. Well, actually, Sean, you said that you've caught up on a few recent releases.
What'd you see?
Yeah, okay, so
Mr. Coyle.
Finally got Netflix working on my work computer, which is nice.
So that's what the long hours have been.
Yeah.
So, you know, on the one monitor I'm drawing cartoons, and on the other monitor today
sure.
I had The Last Stand playing.
The Last Stand. Oh, the Schwarzenegger
movie. I gotta say,
no.
It's
really?
It's like it's the perfect Sunday movie, Sunday morning movie, which we expected. It doesn't pretend to be something more than what it is.
Okay.
So like right off the bat, there's a lot of, like, for example, there's like, you know, in the first 5 or 10 minutes, you're introduced to all the characters, and there's like everybody has a line that explains like who they are. And there's this guy that we meet him, and he's in prison he's in prison because he, got drunk at a bar and picked a fight with somebody. And they're like trying to talk him down. And literally he says something like, yeah, I didn't serve like 2 tours in Iraq and Afghanistan, like blah, blah, blah. And it's like, oh, right.
Right.
I
wasn't honorably discharged and inherited my father's hardware shop for nothing.
It's that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
And Schwarzenegger, he's old, but the role suits him in the stage of his life and his career.
Except for the fact that he plays a sheriff in Arizona.
Yeah. Oh, and I wish I could have remembered his name. We can look it up, I'm sure. But it was another
Ray Owens.
Yeah, Ray Owens. But
I'm Ray Owens. I'm the sheriff in Arizona.
I'm American as apple pie. Ray Owens.
I enjoyed this a lot more than the first 2 Expendables movies.
Okay.
And the director has quite an interesting style. Like, I could definitely see him. And again, I wish I remembered his name.
Kim Ji-woon.
There you go. Thanks, Zeki.
Oh, yeah.
All there's a lot of car stuff in this, and everything is practical, which we were talking about Need for Speed last week.
Yeah.
I would say like 75 to 85% of the stunt work in this movie was practical.
Wow.
And you can definitely tell, and it's definitely worth it. And I could see, like, if they were ever looking for somebody else to take over, say, like the Fast and Furious franchise, I would totally give it to this guy. Because he's got a really cool style.
Some kind of like cult hits, like I Saw the Devil.
Yeah.
Good, the Bad, and the Weird.
But
So he's the dude. People like him.
The movie, it's not a bad way to, it's incredibly violent in areas, and it's a lot of...
Is it rated R?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. A lot of CG squibs, a lot of, like really brutal gun violence.
Mm-hmm.
Cartoonishly so. It's not quite the level of Punisher Warzone, but there are a couple moments.
Glorious.
There's a couple moments in there that are pretty damn close.
Nice.
And Johnny Knoxville, it kind of works. I know the trailer made him look incredibly obnoxious, but
how did it make him look?
It made him look obnoxious.
Yeah.
But it works in the movie.
Okay.
Yeah. I like Johnny Knoxville.
Yeah, it's entertaining. It's like, it's a good, it harkens back to, like, this could have been a Schwarzenegger movie of old. But what's interesting is this also, like, if you threw Clint Eastwood into that role, like, he could have done this exact same movie.
Really?
I mean, it would have been different, obviously, but this story, I think, would have suited Clint Eastwood perfectly.
Interesting.
Yeah. And then just this evening, I saw The Way Back.
Oh, nice. Okay.
What'd you think?
On TV. You know what's interesting? First half hour, we were ready to shut it off. And I was like, everybody loved it. And Brian, Zaki, and Paul, everybody loved it. And I'm glad we stuck around because the last 45 minutes I thought were pretty great. Just a cute story, like really endearing. Steve Carell plays a surprisingly great dick in this movie.
Yeah.
Right.
But like a realistic.
That's his next movie, actually, The Surprisingly Great Dick. It's kind of another
Rockwell, man. Like,
he's
incredible
interesting because he's not like cartoonishly jerkish.
right.
Like,
exactly.
he's kind of realistically.
yeah.
Like he's not horrible, but he's not nice either.
Yeah,
Exactly.
I thought the love story with the kids was handled really well. And Sam Rockwell, dude, that moment when at the end, when they're at the pool and he's like, hey, I'm a friend of the 3. And he stands and like, he puts himself in front, in between Steve Carell and the kid. I was like, that's the best moment of the movie right there.
Yeah.
And, makes me jealous because like, you just get the impression that that's who Sam Rockwell is. Like, he really is that cool. And like, you can never be that cool.
I know. That's right. It's true. Yeah.
Yeah, it was a cute little
Like
movie.
you would try to mentor some kid and he'd be like seriously, man, leave me alone.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm going to call the cops. You're acting creepy. Yeah.
It's like I almost wish my childhood was troubled so that I could have met Sam Rockwell in my life.
Brian, have you caught any new releases?
Well, before I get to new release, I just want to say I rewatched Groundhog Day recently. And have you guys seen it recently?
Maybe like a year ago.
I haven't. I just bought it last week because it was like $5 on Amazon.
Oh, wow. Yeah, no, I mean, I knew it was a good movie. I had watched it when I was like 21. Like, it came out when I was 13, and I remember watching it like 21, 22. It was on TV late at night, and I remember kind of having a moment with it. Because I was like, oh yeah, it's this fun kind of wish fulfillment comedy, but it's more than that, you know. And I remember really feeling something for it when I watched it that one time. So anyway, I watched it now at 33, and I was like, I wonder if I'll feel sort of the same thing. And man, I did, and then some. I mean, this movie just totally holds up. It's, again, like it could have been this kind of fun wish fulfillment movie where a guy gets to relive every day and do whatever he wants and rob a bank and blah, 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 blah. And they like handle that stuff because you would try to do silly things. But it really is a movie about becoming the best you possible, you know, and like with the time that you're given, you know, making the best use of that time. And I don't know. I was very moved by it. It's just so funny. Like I look forward to hearing you, if you watch it again soon, like hearing what you think about it. And it's interesting because I guess I've read up on it a little bit, as I am wont to do after I finish a movie. And I guess in the screenplay, the writer, I never thought about this, but the days that he lives over and over and over, I assumed, you know, what, like 2 months, 3 months. But
38 years.
Well, yeah, for the movie that actually came out, they assumed it was about 38 years. But the screenplay had it 10,000 years.
Wow.
Yeah, and the way that he was supposed to mark how long it had been was there was all these books in his hotel room, and he would read a page for each day so he could keep track. And yeah, anyway, but it's I realize from being from 1993, there may be some people listening who are younger who have not seen it, and I just say you have like a gem waiting for you if you haven't seen Groundhog Day. So check that out. Very good.
And this picks up a little bit on what we were talking about last time, but does it have an extra level of poignancy knowing that Harold Ramis is gone?
Maybe some people would find something like that. I don't think so specifically, but I will say that it's easily his best movie, you know, that he made, and that's not saying anything about his other movies. I mean, it's like any director or writer would be lucky to have this one movie in their resume.
Yeah, absolutely, yeah.
So yeah, it was just like the perfect mixture of like pathos and comedy and and just touching. It's very good.
And for all you Stephen Tobolowsky fans, it's probably his best role ever.
Oh yeah. Well, you know what's funny was out here in Los Angeles they have Jason Reitman hosts these live reads, and so he'll pick seemingly random movies and he'll recast, you know, with these like A-list actors, and they'll perform the movie live. And they just did Groundhog Day yesterday. And so they did Jason Bateman as the Bill Murray character. And for the Stephen Tobolowsky character, they did Stephen Tobolowsky. Because you can't get anyone else to do that.
Phil Connors?
Yeah. Ned Ryerson?
And you said you saw this, Ryan?
No, you know, I'm kicking myself because you can do this by becoming a member of Film Independent.
Oh, I see.
And it's like under $100. You get to do all this stuff, go all these amazing screenings. I still haven't signed up for it. I need to do that.
Scam.
No, it's great. I mean, then you get to vote. You get to vote for the Film Independent Awards and all that, Independent Spirit Awards.
Right.
Sean is displeased.
Cynical Sean.
It's cynical Sean for this episode.
No, this is optimistic Sean.
Have you seen anything else, Brian?
New release. I saw Wes Anderson's latest movie, The Grand Budapest Hotel.
Yeah, I saw this too.
And you know, it's funny. I hadn't told you that I saw it, and I loved it. And then I got a text from you, or what'd you say? Like you're like it's fantastic, or something like that. Like,
right.
Yeah, I mean, this movie. To give a little history, I've loved Wes Anderson, and I'm not trying to sound like a hipster here, but like I saw Bottle Rocket when it first came out, like back in '96, and I was like, man, I really like what this guy is doing. And I've seen every movie ever since, and I've just been with him the whole way. And I think the only movie that hasn't really done it for me maybe was Darjeeling.
Yeah.
Okay.
And it's funny because I was starting to wonder, because the thing is with Wes Anderson, you know, people could easily say like, oh, he's, you know, a one-trick pony. He does the same thing over and over. And I understand that, you know, for people who don't enjoy him, I get where they're coming from with that. But the thing is I look at it as his voice, and I like seeing these different sorts of stories through that voice. Yeah. And I think Darjeeling was the only one where I felt like he didn't have anything new to say. necessarily. But I mean, with Life Aquatic and Bottle Rocket and Rushmore and Royal Tenenbaums, I feel like those are all, and Moonrise Kingdom, like a love story between these two like tweens. It was just kind of cute. And so anyway, with this is sort of a caper film told by Wes Anderson, and I really dug it. So you did too?
Yeah, and I think my perspective on Wes Anderson is very different from yours, not in the sense that I dislike him, but I'm definitely not versed in his oeuvre. I've seen Bottle Rocket because you gave it to me, but that's really like the only Wes Anderson movie I have recollection of seeing the whole way through.
Oh wow! Oh yeah, there's definitely some you should check out.
Yeah, I mean, and I've appreciated everything I've seen of him, right? So actually, no, you know what? I've seen Rushmore.
Yeah.
But I haven't seen Royal Tenenbaums.
Oh wow.
You didn't see Tenenbaums with us?
No, I haven't seen Tenenbaums. Haven't seen Life Aquatic. So I'm somebody who's familiar with Wes Anderson. Just the sort of the persona that he has as a filmmaker.
Yeah.
And also the comical persona as seen in like that Saturday Night Live parody.
That was great.
They did like the Wes Anderson horror movie.
Yeah.
And I texted this to Brian. I said, I feel like this is like the answer to that SNL skit in the sense that.
Oh, right.
It's like, no, Wes Anderson is more than just kind of the sum of his parts.
Right.
Where you throw in a dash of this and a quirky bit of that, and you get kind of, one thing, a stylistic technique and a narrative technique that I thought was so interesting in this is how the way the film is told, it's like nested Russian dolls,
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So it starts with this little girl going to the gravesite of this author, and it's the author who wrote the book, The Grand Budapest Hotel. So she sees his grave or whatever, his shrine, and then she sits down and she opens up the book, The Grand Budapest Hotel. And that's the outermost frame of the story. And then we cut to Tom Wilkinson as that author in his older years, and he's telling us the story of the Grand Budapest Hotel. And in telling us the story, he tells us how it was told to him when he was younger. So then that's the second frame of the story. And we now cut backward to the third inner frame of the story, which is Tom Wilkinson, now played by Jude Law as a young man, and he meets F. Murray Abraham, who's the owner of the Grand Budapest Hotel, and he tells Jude Law about how he came to own the Grand Budapest Hotel.
Yeah.
And that's the third layer of the story. And then we come to the actual picture in the frame.
Yeah.
And that's Rafe Fiennes, et cetera. And I loved that technique because what it really does is, to me, here's my takeaway, Brian, and you tell me if I'm overthinking it. But I was like, it's kind of how life is, right? Where life is only an experience for the person who lives it.
Mm.
And that experience, once conveyed to somebody else, their experience of that experience is of being told about it.
Yeah.
And I love that. Like, I love that aspect of it. Like, for example, if your parents are like, oh, let me tell you about like this thing that happened to me when I was in school. Well, you don't experience that story in the same way.
No,
right.
You paint your own picture, yeah.
Yeah, and I thought that was it was a fascinating comment on kind of how life works. It's a great cast. Rafe Fiennes is great.
He's fantastic in this movie.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it's really his show here.
Yeah.
I mean, and this is like a whole roster of characters. I mean, there's a lot of people in this movie, like Bill Murray, William Dafoe, Jeff Goldblum, Tilda Swinton, Jeffrey Abraham, Jude Law, like just tons and tons of people. But like this is, Ralph Fiennes is so funny, and that's what I liked about it too, is because sometimes Wes Anderson, people say he gets caught up in his style, but what I thought this movie actually successfully conveyed a sweet little story about this guy who runs the hotel and his bellhop, and like their sort of odd relationship, and it becomes pretty touching. And Anderson uses his style and his framing and his like very precious sort of set design and things like that. But there's also like moments when the film goes into black and white and all sorts of things, but they're all used like very effectively. And I actually was pretty moved by the end of the movie. It's stuck with me for a couple days. I was thinking about it quite a bit.
Yeah, and that's something that he does very well also is by virtue of this kind of multiple framed storytelling, he toys with our expectations.
Mm-hmm.
Several times, I think, where you're based on your vague knowledge of how things are supposed to go, you're expecting things to happen a certain way, and they don't. He does that very well.
Yeah.
So it's just a nice little movie that I don't think people are going to have many expectations for, but they'll be pleasantly surprised. And it's been doing phenomenal.
Yeah. At slow
the box
rollout,
office.
but that's been really paying off for it.
Yeah, it's a slower than slow rollout, but it's in terms of dollars per screen, it's been like doing better than the big blockbusters.
Yeah.
So another new release. By the way, new release this weekend. I have not seen it, but it's worth pointing out as a historical marker. Divergent is out this week, and this is the umpteenth young adult novel turned franchise in hopes of being the next Hunger Games, I suppose.
It's about a girl in a dystopian future.
Right.
The elite are trying to keep people down, but she's unlike the rest.
It's like the Mad Libs version of Hunger Games.
She stands out, and she has to be stopped.
But it's going to end up making $55 million this weekend.
What?
And it cost $85 million.
Well, dude, I was shocked that the 300 sequel made as much money as it did.
Me too. I thought that was, and I didn't have anything against it, but I thought that had kind of passed. Its time had passed.
And I'm even more blown away that this movie made that kind of cash over the weekend.
Yeah.
Well, I'll say this though, that this was I know a lot of people who have read the book, so I figured it would definitely have its audience. Whether or not it has staying power, I mean, the Hunger Games. I think I saw the Hunger Games. You know what I mean? Like that was able to get like a kind of a wide audience. I don't know that this movie's going to have the staying power of that.
Well, they've already greenlit the sequel. Like we're recording this on opening night of the movie, and
so is it going to beat the Muppets?
The Muppets Most Wanted is headed for the number 3 spot this weekend. It's looking at 18 to 19 million.
That's a surprise.
Yeah, well, I saw the Muppets, and Sean, I know you're a pretty big Muppet fan.
I'm a huge Muppet fan.
Yeah, so I was hoping you'd have caught it, unfortunately, but based on...
When would I get open tonight? When would I get a chance to see it?
Well, if you cared, you would have made time.
You work in Hollywood, man.
Yeah,
you guys. You.
But I did see it, and I enjoyed it. It's hard to be critical of a Muppet movie. Is kind of where I'm at when it comes to this stuff.
Did you see the last one?
Well, see now this is interesting because Sean, you did not like the 2011 Muppet reboot movie.
No, it had its moments, but overall, I did not care for it.
I did like it, and I do like it. I liked this one slightly less than the previous one, and I would expect that that's not necessarily going to be the norm. I'm very curious, actually, what you end up thinking of it. It's not a bad movie by any stretch. I enjoyed it, but the original title of the film was not Muppets Most Wanted. It was The Muppets Again, and I'm glad that they changed that. But it does kind of feel like that. It feels like The Muppets Again.
Yeah.
And so there doesn't really feel like as much of a drive to tell a compelling story that really drives home why the Muppets are awesome. But it's fun, I mean, if you like the Muppets, you'll like this,
Now, given everything that's been going on between the U.S. and Russia, the fact that this movie has Russian antagonists, do you think that it's possible that the Muppet movie will, sort of be the catalyst for the world ending? Will this movie destroy us all?
I think that the Muppet folks instigated whatever's going on with Crimea just so that their movie could be talked about.
It's smart. Disney.
Yeah, that's my theory. This movie, by the way, is jam-packed with the most random cameos. They're not even glorified cameos. That's what I found really interesting. Because you'll have stuff like James McAvoy plays a UPS delivery guy, and he's like, "Here's your box," and he leaves.
That's kind of how the first one was too, though.
Yeah, it's because this is just off the top of my head. We've got James McAvoy, Chloe Moretz, Tom Hiddleston, Ray Liotta, Danny Trejo. Danny Trejo, by the way, plays a Russian prisoner named Danny Trejo, which I found funny. Like,
Is that a joke?
I remember.
I think so. Yeah.
When you interviewed him, he was like, "I've just finished this movie with Ray Liotta called The Muppets."
The Muppets.
I forgot.
Yeah, that's right. He mentioned that. Yeah.
Cool.
And it's very random, but it's fun. It's like I don't have anything really negative to say about it because you watch a Muppet movie, you pretty much know what you're getting, what to expect, and this gives you that within the parameters of what you expect. I would say it's better than, I don't know, what's like the weakest of the Muppet movie? There's like 8 of them now, right? 7?
Yeah, probably Treasure Island, maybe.
Muppet Treasure Island, yeah. There are those
made-for-TV ones which don't count, and that.
No, we're gonna ignore those.
Kermit Swamp Ears shit doesn't count.
So there's the Muppet movie. There's the Great Muppet Caper. Muppets Take Manhattan.
Yeah.
Together again.
Muppet Christmas Carol.
Muppet Treasure Island.
Muppets
from Space.
Muppets from Space. The Muppets, and then this one. Wow, this is the 8th Muppet movie. And I mean, all of those are like within a few standard deviations of each other. You know what I mean?
Muppets Take Manhattan's pretty fantastic.
I like the Muppets.
Right, but I'm saying you get pretty good to pretty awesome. Like none of them is terrible.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
Yeah. I read this review where it said Disney is doing its best to prevent the Muppets from becoming cultural wallpaper. And I was like, yeah. They could just be sort of this thing that they end up in like a Radio Shack commercial in 10 years. Like, remember the Muppets? You know what I mean? And everybody would always be like, I love the Muppets. But it's interesting because what they do, like their sort of subversion and their irony and their whatever, like seeing that attached to cute, fuzzy things isn't – a lot of things do that now.
Yeah.
Like that was something sort of different in the 70s and the 80s. And now I think that's why it's in third place this weekend. Like there's a lot more things, and there's things that are sort of like that now, and their voice isn't as unique as it once was, unfortunately. And it's the second generation of their voice, really.
Well, actually, it's opening in second place, but just to kind of the irony of what you're saying is its biggest competition is Mr. Peabody and Sherman.
That is weird. Which is doing really well, by the way. For being a cartoon, I'm certain the audience does not know.
Right.
Yeah. I mean,
so we have
familiar with the Bullwinkle shorts. What's that?
We have 2 movies starring Ty Burrell that are neck and neck, right? Because Ty Burrell is the voice of Peabody, and he's also one of the human characters in the Muppets.
Yeah. Hey.
Oh, and by the way, Brian, I just want to say, whoever said that cultural wallpaper line is a hero.
I feel like it was Film Drunk.
Yeah. No, it was Zaki Hassan, actually.
Oh, was that you?
Wait,
I read like 3 reviews in a row. That was you? Oh, I'm so sorry. They all blended together.
I thought you were like being like coyly giving me credit.
No, I'm just being ignorant. Well, look at that. I didn't even remember that it was you, and I called it out because it stuck with me. I'm telling you, this is not me blowing smoke. Zaki is an excellent reviewer.
I really genuinely thought when you said cultural wallpaper, I was like, I was kind of like doing like I just
I read like 3 reviews in a row, and that's the thing that stuck with me the most. So there you go.
Speaking of cultural wallpaper, this is a bit of a tangent.
This segue better measure up, by the way.
No, it will. When I had my business trip to Atlanta, I flew Delta Airlines, and their in-flight safety video took me by surprise because the video starts and it's this girl, this flight attendant, and like her uniform is a little dated, and you're kind of like, wait a second, so like why is she wearing that? And then you notice as she starts to talk about things like about keeping the aisles clear and stuff like that, everybody on the plane in the video is from the 80s. So like you have these girls with these giant old Madonna kind of hairdos that have to like switch seats because their hair is blocking the aisle, and when they're talking about stowing your electronics, like this guy is holding an Atari system in his lap and he like slides it under the seat in front of him, and then all of a sudden there's Teddy Ruxpin, like the actual Teddy Ruxpin doll has to like recline his seat back up, so like they cut to the Teddy Ruxpin and he like reaches back and his seat comes up, and then the air masks come down, and all of a sudden it's Alf in this row of people, and the air masks come down, and the guy two people next to him and have to put their masks on first. So Alpha's just, and Brian would appreciate this, like Alpha's just like sort of standing there politely waiting for somebody to put the mask on him. And then the guy puts the mask on him and he's just kind of like, oh, thank you. And then it's Kareem Abdul-Jabbar is one of the pilots in the cockpit. It's just random stuff that they threw. But hey, like for being a safety video, totally kept my attention. So
what airline is this?
It was for Delta. So then I looked it up on the internet, and I think, you can find it. But then there's also related videos, and Robert Hayes and Kareem Abdul-Jabbar did an airplane spoof video for the Wisconsin Board of Travel.
Really?
They're in a plane that's flying over Wisconsin, and they're like doing lines from Airplane, but like sort of rewritten to be talking about how wonderful the state of Wisconsin is.
Weird.
This was shot like last year, this video.
Oh, wow.
It's just random.
Wow.
Stuff I did not expect would ever exist. But
Yeah.
But you're happy it does.
Yeah.
happy it does.
Nice. All right, well, moving on, we have some listener letters, and we've skipped over listener letters in recent episodes because we've had such a packed schedule. So I wanted to make sure that we made time to give a hearing to our listeners, and we have a new review up on iTunes that I wanted to share with you guys. So this is by Andrew J. Ferris. So Andrew, thank you for listening. And he says, I love this podcast. The three hosts have fantastic dynamic. The segments are great. And best of all, the reviews aren't snooty or condescending. I get sick of movie talk that only lauds the obscure or ultra high-minded. So it's refreshing to listen to guys who appreciate a wide range of films, even if sometimes they're just for fun. I don't even get to see that many movies these days, but I'm still glad to have the Movie Film Podcast as regular, bi-weekly part of my life. And I think you'll feel the same.
Wow. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you, Andrew.
Well, Andrew Ferris. I'd like to tell Andrew Ferris that In Excess is well overdue for a new album. That's a joke that like 3 people are going to understand.
Very well done. Thank you.
The guys in Excess are the Ferris brothers, and one of them is named Andrew Ferris. So there you go.
Sean, doing his part to expand our audience.
Hi, Chad.
This is a comment that
We
was
all know
left.
Chad doesn't listen. Sorry.
Prove us wrong, Chad.
Prove us wrong.
Right now, we're not listening.
This is a comment that was left about our last episode by Bushra, and this is in regards to the comments that Brian, you and Samir, I guess last time were making about the texting in the live texting that we see as a storytelling device. So she says, a good episode with a great convo about Ghostbusters. Random. In regards to when you all were talking about the contents of a text showing up on the screen for the viewer like they do in Nonstop, and wondering what that trend started. The first time I saw that was in the first episode of the series Sherlock, which came out back in 2010, way before House of Cards.
Yeah.
And yeah, that is in Sherlock. I realized that after she posted that. So I believe that might be patient zero for this trend.
This should become a thing, right? Let's say, okay, right now, so far, we have it pinpointed at Sherlock, 2010. So if anyone can figure out anything that was before that, we'll go with that.
Right.
We have another email here that we received at moviefilmpodcast@gmail.com, and this is from David. And David says...
Just David?
It's just David.
Okay.
It's like Madonna.
Okay.
And he says, bouncing off your Quantum Leap conversation from last time, what old TV shows would you like to see revived today?
Quantum Leap?
Well, okay, so we've established Quantum Leap, obviously.
What about, like, MacGyver?
That's another one I'm surprised they haven't done anything with.
Couldn't MacGyver be cool?
Do you think that with all the MacGruber stuff that's still fairly recent, that's sort of like it's become too spoofified?
Well,
do we need more time now?
I mean, it's amazing how much 80s stuff was so campy.
Yeah.
But I mean, I feel like there's like a real-world version of MacGyver.
Yeah.
That could be done.
I think the A-Team could work. The movie I thought was awesome, but not enough people
watched it.
I know.
Not enough people watched it.
But that's an idea that works. Simon and Simon. Dude, I've been wanting to remake Simon and Simon for years.
Yeah, I mean, there's another one. Magnum PI is another one. I'm surprised nobody's done anything with. I remember, I mean, for the longest time, I remember Tom Selleck saying he had Tom Clancy ready to write a script for a Magnum PI movie.
Wow.
Wow.
I mean, we're talking like probably mid to late 90s at this point. And I'm like, how did they not make that happen? I mean, that seems like a no-brainer. Now, probably Tom Selleck is too old, but I mean, in the mid 90s, he could have pulled it off, you know?
Yeah.
Was Tom Selleck like, Tom Clancy's going to bring you a Magnum PI movie, like in the company that'll bring it to you? AT&T. Do you remember those commercials?
Oh, yeah.
Yep.
They used to play those before all the movies in like the mid 90s, early 90s, and it was all stuff that came true. It was always like, have you ever paid for a toll without stopping your car? And it's like, no, I do. You should go on YouTube. I actually went back on YouTube and watched a couple of those, and I'm like, they're all happening.
Weird.
Yeah, it's weird. I mean, it's like, if I remember it, one of them was even like, have you ever taken a picture and sent it instantly to your friend? You know, like, it's crazy.
Do you remember that one commercial? This is like taking us down kind of a depressing quarter, but remember that one commercial where it predicted Christopher Reeve getting up out of his chair and walking?
Yeah.
Some award. Remember that?
Yeah.
And like there were people who watched that commercial and thought it was real.
Right.
And then shortly thereafter, Christopher Reeve died. So.
What was that for? What was for, like, research or something?
Some kind of scientific research thing. I remember.
Hoover vacuums, actually. It's really weird.
Well, wasn't that it was Hoover that did, like, the Fred Astaire commercials? They
get a lot of flack for that. But, like, everybody does it now. I don't even know what that company is, but there's that Audrey Hepburn one now.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I just saw it. Are there more listener letters?
No, that's the last one for this week.
Just because we're down memory lane. The movie Son-in-Law was on TV the other night.
Yeah.
Okay, hold on a second. I need to say this.
Yeah.
Not an hour and a half ago, I swear to God, my wife and I and the family were driving back from a party, and I was quoting Son-in-Law to my wife.
What were you quoting?
I was like, can I call you Dad? No! You know, and I was like, hey, did you see Son-in-Law? And literally, I'm not kidding. Like, my wife and I were having this conversation. Of all the things, bear in mind, in 10 years of marriage, the number of times I've talked about Pauly Shore once. About an hour and a half ago. So I find it amusing that now you're like, oh, and by the way, Son-in-Law. I just find that amusing. So this folks, the point I'm trying to make, folks, is that the connection that we have, this chemistry that you listen to for, you know, the moonlighting-esque relationship between the three of us.
Won't they?
It's time. It's time the audience knows. Brian and Zachy and myself are in tune with what we have just collectively labeled the powers.
The powers.
All we do is they're just known as the powers. It's some all-encompassing, all-knowing, some sort of energy out there in the universe.
It surrounds us, binds us.
Yeah.
Either
it does
we feed off of it.
absolutely no good for anyone.
Either we feed off of it or it feeds off of us. I don't know. But
useless powers.
And I know everybody will relate in some way where it's like, oh, I was thinking about a song and then it was on the radio. No, this goes way beyond any of that stuff. For example, we were up at Zachy's place and we were discussing the finale of MASH over lunch. And no joke, we get home and on some random channel was not just the finale of MASH, but specifically the scene that we were discussing.
And then this stuff started happening over and over and over. And we weren't even impressed anymore.
It's like our life is like a very uninteresting Final Destination movie.
Yes. No death.
Just a couple of weeks ago, and I swear on my marriage and on my child. I have my iPod on shuffle in my car, and so a track from Terminator 3 came on. Mm-hmm. And I was like, oh, Terminator 3, wonder whatever happened to Jonathan Mostow. And for some reason I kept saying his name in like a Spanish accent, like Mostow, Jonathan Mostow, my name is Mostow. And no joke, that night Terminator 3 was on one of the Espanol channels. I'm 100% serious. I am 100% not kidding. I'm not. And I had nobody to share this moment with.
Okay.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
I think Brian's going to pass out.
I had nobody to share it with. It was just like, oh my God. And I couldn't do anything about it. I had to just sit in it like it never happened.
Okay.
You can't make that up. It's like I was saying, Jonathan Mossell's name in a Spanish accent. And then his movie was on the Spanish.
It's true. It's true.
Oh, goodness.
All right.
All right. So moving on, we do have some. Thank you for that, Sean. By the way. Oh, my eyes are watering. So we do have some Hollywood headlines to discuss for this week. And just to start things off, Brian, maybe you can tell us about this Louis C.K. getting gut punched by irony.
Speaking of gut punch, my stomach is killing me right now. I'm laughing so hard. Okay. This was really, really funny.
Yeah, and we can go ahead and play the audio.
Yeah, well, I'll
set it up
between this. Yeah, we'll add some of the clips here. But this was something I saw on Reddit one night, and it was a clip of Louis C.K. on a podcast from 2008. And Louis C.K. is kind of riffing on Inside the Actors Studio. And he's saying, like, yeah, you know, you get these actors on there and you get these acting students in the crowd. And he goes, but look, if you're an acting student in the crowd and you're asking Sean Penn a question, you're never going to be big. Like, you should just know. If you're on Inside the Actors Studio, you're an acting student asking a question to Sean Penn, you're just not going to make it. Like, it's not going to happen for you. And it's funny because you're like, I totally get what he's saying.
I'm going to ask you a series of questions that we have brought up. You know, Inside the Actors Studio. You ever seen that program?
Sure, yeah.
You know, at the end they have a series of questions that they.
It always occurs to me. You know, when an actor stands up during one of the people in the audience and says, "I'm an actor, and what can I do?" and asks Sean Penn or whoever, "What can I do to reach your level?" or whatever, and you just want to say, "That's it. You never will be famous. You'll never be famous. There's no way you asked Sean Penn a question and then you're going to be huge." There's not a single member of that audience that would stand up and cry while talking to him. Oh, and then that became Juliette Lewis or somebody. No.
But then the clip cuts to Bradley Cooper as a young acting student asking Sean Penn a question.
That's
Not
right.
even like some other, like Tom Hanks or Robert De Niro. Sean Penn, the person that Louis C.K. referenced. And then the clip cuts to a clip from American Hustle where Bradley Cooper is now sharing the screen with Louis C.K. in an Oscar-nominated performance, and it's him slapping Louis C.K. on the head and humping him on a couch while he's laughing at him and humiliating Louis C.K. So it's just absolutely the perfect sequence of events.
Right.
It's sort of be like, actually, CK, maybe you do not know what you're talking about. And it's funny because that clip, like I said, of Louis C.K. comes from 2008, so that's pre-Hangover. So he wouldn't even know who Bradley Cooper is. This isn't like he's riffing on it knowingly. Like, this is all complete coincidence. So it's hysterical. It's just as weird. So anyway, I saw it on Reddit, and I thought it was this funny little thing that no one else would see. And then the next day, this thing blows up. Like, it's everywhere. It was on Yahoo News. It was everywhere. So we look forward to seeing Louis C.K.'s comment on this.
Yeah, and I think he's a good enough sport that.
Oh, sure, he can laugh
it off. It's just funny. It's been funny for me to see some of the comments online where people are like, Louis C.K. needs to shut his mouth. He thinks he's so big. Like turning this into something way more sinister.
Right.
Oh, it's just a hilarious coincidence.
That's all it is, right? It's just, what are the odds that he specifically says Sean Penn, and that's who Bradley Cooper is asking the question to?
Who he doesn't even know Bradley Cooper at the time. And then now he's actually been in a movie with him, and Bradley Cooper's been nominated for Oscars, plural.
I know, plural, right?
Yeah.
Very
cool. I mean, you could not have a better clip of not only Bradley Cooper in a film, but Bradley Cooper with Louis C.K. humiliating Louis C.K. It's hysterical.
Well, I mean, God works in mysterious ways. Sometimes he shows the Terminator in Spanish.
Exactly.
And other times he does stuff like this. This is why God has a sense of humor, right?
Yeah.
Dios mío.
Now, in other news, I wanted to mention this with you guys briefly. There's been word of a returning cast member from the Jurassic Park franchise who's going to make an appearance in Jurassic World. I know that this has been a big question that people have. Who's coming back?
Does his name rhyme with Shmi Shrong?
As a matter of fact.
What?
I know. So everyone was expecting, is Alan Grant going to be back? Is Ellie Sattler going to be back? Is Ian
Jeff
Malcolm going to be back?
Black Daughter going to be back?
That's right. None of the above. It's going to be B.D. Wong, who's in the original Jurassic Park for about a minute and a half, as he explains how they've genetically engineered all the dinosaurs to have girl parts.
All the dinosaurs are female.
That's right.
Engineered them to be that way.
Per director Colin Trevorrow, he had a much larger role in the original novel. He was the engineer of this breakthrough in de-extinction. He spent 2 decades living in Hammond's shadow, underappreciated. We think there's more to his story.
Hey, bring it. I like B.D. Wong.
Yeah. Now, I have no problem with his character coming back. I will say this. What I found more interesting was that Colin Trevorrow actually specifically addressed the fact that the other original characters are not coming, and I thought the way in which he addressed it actually made a lot of sense. And specifically, what he says is here. Let me pull the quote here, and this is I'm reading this off of Bleeding Cool.
Hold on to your butts while Zachy looks this up.
He says, I know a lot of fans want to see the original characters back. They're iconic. But I respect those actors too much to shoehorn them into this story for my own sentimental reasons. Jurassic Park isn't about the bad luck of 3 people who keep getting thrown into the same situation. The only reason they'd go back to that island is if the screenwriters contrived a reason for them to go, which makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
That makes too much sense for Hollywood.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? When he frames it that way, it can't just be about these same people getting stuck in the same situation. Yeah, absolutely. That being said,
it sounds like this isn't going to just be a sequel for monetary reasons. Like this is like they're really thinking this thing out and want to tell a good story. And hey, I'm super excited.
Yeah, and I mean, the storytelling element is key because when you think about it, I don't think any of those 3 actors are going to hold them up for money. You know what I mean? So this is not a financial decision in that sense. Like, we can't afford Sam Neill anymore or whatever. I mean, not to say that Sam Neill comes cheap, but I mean, I think that if they came to him, he probably would do the gig. You know what I mean?
Sure.
So I thought that was an interesting approach, and that based on that, I'm now more okay with them, moving in a different direction. I'm still very much excited for that movie. I've said this before. I'm actually feeling, I think, more jazzed about Jurassic World than many of the other big blockbusters that are being queued up for next summer.
Sure. Yeah, same here.
Perhaps even Star Wars.
I agree.
It doesn't have lightsabers though.
Well, we don't know. Maybe the dinosaurs will have lightsabers. Speaking of the big blockbusters that are coming out in 2015, now 2016, because Batman vs. Superman was going to be out in 2015. They kicked it up a year to 2016, and more specifically, it's landed on the first Friday in May, which has traditionally been in a weekend held by Marvel. And I think if you do the math on this, if you look at going back to 2002, there's been a Marvel release on the vast majority of that weekend specifically. The first Friday of May, going back to 2002, right? Because 2002 was Spider-Man, 2003 was X-Men 2. Okay, not in 2004 because that was Van Helsing, which was terrible.
Wow, your memory here is like.
Yeah, I'm testing myself right now.
I'm throwing the toothpicks on the ground. Let's see.
Let me see. So 2004 was Van Helsing. 2005 was, I believe, Mission Impossible, if I'm not mistaken.
Damn nation. I'm really impressed.
Mission Impossible 3, right?
Mission Impossible 3 was 2005, yeah. 2006 was not X-Men 3, actually, because that was X-Men 3 came out later in May in 2006. 2007 was Spider-Man 3. 2008 was Iron Man. 2009 was X-Men Origins, Wolverine. 2010 was Iron Man 2. 2011 was Thor. 2012 was Avengers. And 2013 was Iron Man 3.
Wow.
Yeah. And then this year, 2014 is Amazing Spider-Man 2.
There you go.
Right? And 2015 will be Avengers 2. So basically Marvel has claimed that opening weekend for a big chunk of it. So this is now the line in the sand that the Warner Brothers people, they had to kick Batman vs. Superman out of mid-July 2015 because it wasn't going to be ready in time. So they have now said, no, we're going to have the first weekend of May. Bring it on, right? Now, what I find amusing about this is that Marvel has scheduled Captain America 3 for that weekend. Captain America 2 is not even out yet. Comes out in 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Already the reviews, by the way, seem to be very, very good so far.
Yeah, very positive.
I'm seeing it. I'm looking at Slash Film. They call it a game changer for the Marvel Cinematic Universe. So so that's kind of exciting. So I'll be seeing it. I'll be seeing it on Wednesday of next week. But so they've already got Captain America 3 scheduled. Now, what I find kind of amusing about this is that Access Hollywood interviewed the Captain America cast members about this face-off, this date face-off, and they answered almost as if they were in character as who they play in the movie. So we've got Samuel L. Jackson being asked about how both movies are on the same date, and he says the bar is going higher and higher, and hopefully these guys can get up there on that bar. DC's having some issues. DC's having a little trouble with Marvel.
What's in your wallet?
You just picture him with that eye patch.
Yeah.
And then they asked Chris Evans, and he says, I didn't even know that. Wow, really? Wait a minute. So you're saying we have to go against him? Well, that's a shame. I love that he's in character, basically, answering. They also interviewed Sebastian Stan, who plays the Winter Soldier in The Winter Soldier. And he says, all you really have to know to answer that question is just look at the track record of Marvel versus DC. Green Lantern. I'm biased. I'm on this side. Which I love. I love the fact that this is like a pissing contest between these fictional universes. I think that's great. It just
feels kind of dumb. You know what I mean?
Well, here's my question, though.
Why cut out from each other? Like,
one of those movies is going to blink. I think we can.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, which one will blink?
Yeah.
Which one will blink?
Well, I'll say this. I think if they did come out on the same day, I think a Batman movie would outperform a Captain America movie.
Yeah, I think so, too.
I think more specifically, here's what the Batman versus Superman movie has going for it. One, it's Batman versus Superman.
Yeah.
Two, it's Ben Affleck as Batman, which I think everyone will want to see.
Is a curiosity, yeah.
Right, the curiosity factor.
And everyone's really high on Batman, and they haven't had a chance to ruin whatever the next incarnation is. Like, this is us figuring out what the next incarnation is.
But based on the early reviews, it looks like Captain America could potentially be setting up for a very successful third movie.
Yeah, but still,
says critics.
I think if this was if it was only a Superman movie, it'd be more of a fair fight. But I think just throwing Batman into the mix like that, I think it tilts the scales in Warner Brothers' favor. Plus, we don't know how Justice League-y this movie is going to be yet. So
yeah.
Like, if all the trailers feature a buttload of characters, that's going to help in its favor.
So you guys are going to call that Marvel will move Captain America?
I don't know. I feel like that. Well, no, I'm sorry.
I was just going to say, I don't see why it matters. Like,
okay, so you think that you don't think anybody's going to blink?
No, I'm saying, like, why does it matter if somebody blinks? Who cares? Like,
I want to see both. I'm going to see both.
Yeah, release it a week earlier or a week later. Like, they're both going to make a crap load of money.
Well, because we talk about movies and movie news on this show, so I think for the sake of conversation, I think it's interesting to wonder.
Oh, absolutely. Well, the thing is I feel like Batman is just always going to kind of be champ when it comes to this sort of stuff. But like Marvel having the run that they have, I feel like, and I don't want to call it hubris because I don't think it's like egotistical necessarily, but like confidence for sure. Like I could see them not blinking because they're like, we're Marvel. Like you said, like it's our month.
I just don't understand like what Warner Brothers is trying to prove. It's like, okay, fine, like release your movie that week. We'll release ours a week earlier, or a week later. Right. If they're smart, they'll release it a week later to steal the audience.
Or a month later, just to make the most money possible.
Yeah.
Right. It's interesting. So that's kind of a story that's worth monitoring just as we move forward.
Yeah.
And it's also it's also interesting, and I feel like this is a relatively recent phenomenon. And correct me if I'm wrong, where you have studios like claiming opening dates further and further and further into the future.
Yeah.
I mean, to that point, we had 20th Century Fox earlier this week announcing that they've basically claimed opening weekends to sequels to movies that haven't even been made yet, like all the way through like 2018 or something.
2018, yeah.
Because now 20th Century Fox, as we know, we're talking about Marvel. They have the rights to a handful of Marvel properties that they're desperate to keep hold of. They don't want to let go of them. So I think that's part of the reason behind their need to sort of be like, oh, and on this date we're gonna have this, on this date. But what we've got here, we've got this. The next X-Men movie. So we've got Days of Future Past this summer.
Mm-hmm.
That's the 7th X-Men movie. The 8th X-Men movie, which is going to be called Apocalypse.
Yay!
That's now I don't know if it's going to include the character Apocalypse.
It better, and he better not be a giant storm cloud or something like they did to Galactus. The Fantastic Four.
So that's going to open May 27th, 2016, and then March 3rd, 2017. Is the next Wolverine. That's also going to be directed by James Mangold, and I'm assuming Hugh Jackman. That may be Hugh Jackman's final time playing Wolverine. Unless they offer him more money, I guess. And then Fantastic Four 2 on July 14th, 2017. Now, this specifically, I want to. Does this seem presumptuous to you, considering the fact?
I was going to say something. Yeah, it's funny because it seems. These are all rumors, who knows? But it seems that they're having enough trouble with the first one.
Yeah.
Right.
And I say first one meaning the reboot.
Right.
With casting and with a script apparently that might be kind of shaky and this and that and the other thing. And there's all these rumors about them scrapping the writer and the director and da-da-da-da-da. But they already have a date set for the sequel.
That seems bonkers to me.
Yeah, that's how it goes. You got to claim this stuff, I guess.
It's like it's like calling. How far in advance do you call shotgun?
Yeah.
Like, does it count if you call it while you're still in the house?
Yeah,
the day before. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And by the way, I know you guys have been wondering about this. Taken 3 will be opening January 9th of next year.
January 9th, 2015. Sign me up. Sign me up. I said in the last episode, Liam Neeson comes out with a movie January, February every year. I'm there.
I'm there. So that is something to look forward to, I suppose.
And one of those movies, by the way, Prometheus 2, right? Isn't that?
Oh, that's right.
Supposedly. Right now it's just a Ridley Scott movie.
Okay. So I'm going to go ahead and call it. There will never be a Prometheus 2.
That'd be awesome.
I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to go ahead and make that prediction. If I'm proven wrong, I'll come on this show and I'll eat crow. But I can't imagine that there's an audience large enough for Fox to spend the kind of money that would need to be spent to make a Prometheus sequel.
I agree with Zachy.
Okay.
What do you think, Brian?
I might be too close. Brian. I might be too close to the information. So take that how you will.
Oh, interesting. All right, fair enough.
But
fair enough.
Let me say this, Sean.
Yes.
Guess who I was in the room with this past week? In the past week, I was in the same space with your buddy Damon Lindelof.
Oh,
nice.
I was at the Lost Paleyfest, however you say it.
Right.
You were there. That's right.
Yeah, I was at the Dolby Theater. They had, a handful of the actors up there. They had Carlton Cuse, Damon Lindelof. I won't go off into this, but speaking of Prometheus and Sean's relationship with that, I got to say, charming guy.
I'm sure he is.
Yeah.
He's a great idea man. He's just, he doesn't know how to tell a complete story. That's all.
Yeah. Well,
I think that Damon Lindelof and George Lucas have a lot in common in that sense.
Sure.
Yeah.
Sure.
They're great scenarists and not so much with the mechanics and the dialogue and whatnot.
Mm-hmm.
The highlight of that night though was being in the Dolby Theater where the Oscars were like a week or two previous. I actually realized I was seated right next to the spot where Ellen took that selfie with Bradley Cooper, and Brad Pitt and all those people. And so I was like, guys.
That's
So
cool.
I grabbed my friends, grabbed the people in the seats who were actually in those seats, and we took a picture in the same spot.
That is pretty awesome.
It's been liked about Ellen's. What was hers, like 100 million, something crazy? Mine was 50.
Well,
You're on your way.
I'm on my way. Ellen,
You're well
look out.
and we measure success in terms of likes.
Oh, for sure. Because if like, no
I
one
was-
liked your
I was
picture,
at,
does it,
Meow
it's
Meow
like a tree in
Beans.
the woods. If no one likes your picture, did you really take it?
Yeah, well, I was at my school. This is a while ago. This is maybe a year ago, and I was sitting in the cafeteria just eating some breakfast. And this was like a Friday morning. There weren't that many people there, but there were a couple of students sitting behind me, and they were sitting on their computer. Two teenage girls, and one of them was like, "Oh, I saw that did you see my picture got 57 likes or whatever?" And her friend is like, "I'm so happy for you." And I wanted nothing more than to turn around at that moment and be like, you should go home now and go to bed because your day peaked.
So happy for you.
There's nothing else that's going to happen today that tops this post getting 47 likes or.
It is funny though, because you'll post something, and I'm saying this figuratively, like I'll post something, let's say, and say it gets like 50 likes. I'm like, oh, nice, whatever.
Yeah.
But then you post something and it gets like 2 likes. You're like, huh, really? You're like, guess that one didn't land. All right. It is funny, like how the numbers can be sort of, disparate or whatever.
Well, Sean, you were talking about Meow Meow Beans, right? And you were referring to a community episode.
Yeah.
By the way, I feel like really we've made it an informal thing where we bring up community every episode in some capacity. Well, and the premise, like that episode that you're talking about, the idea, they're testing this new social media app where you rate people, and the more popular someone is based on people's ratings, the more their ratings count.
Right.
Yeah.
Right? The more their voice counts for more if more people like them. And the thing here's where I correlate that to real life, right? Like I use Twitter a lot, right? And one thing that I've started to do without, like, not consciously, is like people who, like, I'll get people following me, and if somebody follows me, I'll like click over to their profile and decide whether I want to follow them, right? And literally, like, if I see that they've got more than, say, 1,000 followers, I'm usually like, oh, well, they must be somebody like worth following, and so I'll usually. But if they've got like 100 followers or less than 100, I'm like, I don't know. It's a real world corollary to what that episode was showing.
But it's so weird, actually. Just today at work, this guy I work with, he was just like, oh, you got to see my friend's cat. I was like, okay. So he shows me the picture of the cat, and I was like, oh, it's a funny looking cat. He goes, this cat has over 80,000 followers on Instagram.
Wow.
I was like, what? Like, okay, well, I have like a hip hop album I'm trying to promote. Could your cat like say something about it on his Instagram? Like, what? Like, that cat has more influence than I do.
Well, that's really it. I mean, when you think about social media marketing, that's what it is, right?
Yeah.
It's the idea of building up a personal sphere of influence that you can then pimp stuff to.
Hip hop albums, yeah.
Specifically hip hop albums, yeah, and only hip hop albums. So anyway, that's good. Just an interesting observation popped into my head, and I was like, well, if I can't talk about it with you guys, who am I going to talk about it to?
Yeah.
Other news, as we talk about technology, we have the guru of much technology who's being given yet another biopic adaptation. I'm talking, of course, about Steve Jobs, who just recently, was played by Ashton Kutcher in the immortal film Jobs, and whose story is now getting another go in a film directed by David Fincher, which Fincher hopes will star Christian Bale.
He says, Bale or no movie.
Wow. And the script, by the way, is by Aaron Sorkin.
Yeah.
And I posted about this on Facebook, and somebody was like, oh, God, again? And I was like, you got to realize, this is like the Hamlet of our age.
Oh, yeah.
We just have to reinvent it, reinterpret it. We're going to do like, you know how they take Shakespeare and update it for modern times? We're going to do the opposite. We're going to do Steve Jobs, but in Shakespearean times, just to mix things up.
Yeah.
So this sounds to me like I don't even need to know anything about it, but David Fincher, Christian Bale, Aaron Sorkin, I'm in.
Oh, this is like tickets sold. Like whenever weekend that's coming out, I already know what I'm doing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So Brian, as you said, let's hope that Bale is not done with Fincher professionally. You and me, we are done professionally, man.
That's pretty good.
What are you doing? Da 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 in the back. That was glorious, by the way.
That was glorious. That was awful and glorious.
I've played that clip for various people, usually in classes, and then I usually followed up by playing like his apology, where he called in to, I believe it was the Kevin and Bean show, and just profusely apologized. But I mean, that's one of those things where how often does that happen on a film set? Something like that.
Something that intense.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, not often.
Not often, and yet this had the bad luck of
being recorded.
I mean, was it just like an open mic? I mean, how did that happen?
Well, that's just it. I mean, it's not uncommon to have the sound recording, but the fact that you know who was recording it, and then it got leaked. You know what I mean? It's kind of weird.
So how come we didn't hear about that? How come we didn't hear about like the guy who leaked it getting into trouble or whatever?
That's a good point. Maybe because no one cares in real life about that. They just care about the yelling. But I wonder if on that set, or I can't remember, were they even filming at the time when that got leaked, or was that like later? But I'm sure that was the guy who got a credit in that movie is the sound recordist. So we know who it is. You know what I mean? That's fun. That's a good point. That guy was never.
So did Christian Bale wrong this guy in some way?
Yeah, right. Yeah, maybe he berated him the day before.
He's like, I said hi to Christian, and he just walked right by me, asshole.
Yeah.
Let me drop a bomb on his career, and nothing really happened. I mean, Christian Bale didn't take a hit for that tape, or I mean, he didn't take that much of a hit.
Not really.
For that. I mean, not as much as you'd think. And part of that, again, because we've established, because he's been basically making penance for that ever since by walking the earth and healing people with his touch. He genuinely does seem like a good guy who happened to have the worst day of his life released to the public.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that's unfortunate. But yeah, I mean, I am interested in this movie. A movie I am admittedly less interested in is one, just picking up on what we were talking about last time, is Ghostbusters 3. The project that will never die, even as people are departing the project. Harold Ramis obviously passed away. Ivan Reitman was still attached to direct as of a few weeks ago, and then as of last week, Ivan Reitman, who did the first two films, said, "I'm out."
It's funny. They've been talking about the script for so long. I didn't even realize. I just thought this was sort of like Dan Aykroyd's sort of like rantings and ravings. Yeah, sure you will, Aykroyd. Sure you will. But like, I didn't realize that Ivan Reitman had been attached this whole time, like willing to do this.
What was the deal with the first movie? He had a deal to do 3, or he had dibs on a third movie if it was ever made, like going way back to the original.
He has like right of first refusal.
Oh, I see.
Well, and he has an ownership stake in the franchise.
Sure.
Right. So, I mean, that's essentially what happened is, according to him this week, he's like, I came back from Harold Ramis's funeral, and I'm like, I just finished Draft Day, which I talked about a few weeks ago. Really fun movie. I hope you guys check it out. It opens in a few weeks. Really good. And he's like, I like doing the smaller movie. It's just not for me. And I think my theory on this is he's like, you know what? There's just no good way to get this movie made where we come out with our dignity intact. And he's like, you know what? I've got my ownership. I've got my points anyway.
Sure. Right.
You know what I mean? So it's like whether, they're determined to make it, I'm going to get paid anyway. Just let somebody else make it.
Yeah. Why throw yourself into it if it's something?
At this point, just make it a reboot. Don't try to force this connective tissue with the original films.
Okay, wait. So hold on a second. So you're saying reboot as in recast those characters?
No, just use the idea. You know,
Well,
like,
so
they
how do
don't
you
have
have
to be
different
named. They don't have
characters?
to be named Spangler, Venkman, Race, Stantz, and Zedmore. But like, you could have
Well,
this.
if you reboot it, they likely will, right?
I mean, you can, but I'm saying, like, to me, it makes more sense just to start over rather than try to continue.
If you're going to do it at all, yeah, I agree.
It's what we were talking about with Jurassic Park. Like, there's any way to include, like, Ernie Hudson or Bill Murray or Dan Aykroyd is going to feel forced if they're not the main focus of the movie.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
so Ivan Reitman's basically like, I'm just going to be a producer. I'll help him along, but I'm not directing. Okay, fair enough. I was like, well, I'm not. I wasn't hugely interested in it before. I'm less interested now. Then we got some news that actually got me slightly more interested, and it was that Phil Lord and Chris Miller are being, Sony's kind of doing a hard sell to get them to come on board. And these are the guys who directed 21 Jump Street.
Yeah.
And they also did the Lego Movie, both of which I liked.
Well, I feel like if anyone in the internet world was to get excited about, like, look, if you're going to make it, the only way I could see it working is it's these guys. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So that this actually has me intrigued. I'm not going to say excited, but I'm like, okay, I'm kind of, keep talking,
Yeah.
Sure.
So we'll see.
The spirit of it will probably feel accurate.
Yeah.
With these guys. These guys seem to get that.
I mean, it's like we talked about this before, right? I mean, Sony is bound and determined to make this movie.
Yeah.
By hook or by crook. So we just sort of have to accept that and say, all right, well, if you're going to do it anyway, do it in the least embarrassing way possible.
Right.
Whatever that means.
You know how with music we have all these mashup songs nowadays where it's like, like Nirvana mixed with Madonna or like, Kanye and the Beatles or whatever. What would your dream, or not even a dream, but like an interesting film mashup be? Like a director and a movie. Like when we were talking about this, for example, I was thinking like, what would a Wes Anderson Ghostbusters movie look like? I'm not saying they should make it, but it's like, I just want to see what it would look like,
Yeah. So what another
example?
Like,
what sort of out of the box?
I'd actually like to see a Wes Anderson Die Hard. Like talking on the walkie-talkies, to each other, and like it'd be very matter-of-fact conversation. And
they'd be on the same set, but there would just be like a line drawn down the middle.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, what about you, Zachy? Like just a random mashup.
That's a tough one. I'm not sure, to be honest.
Let's stick with Wes Anderson. Wes Anderson directing a
Basic Instinct.
I think once you get the Wes Anderson Die Hard, I think you've satisfied. Like that's like the mashup to end all mashups at that point. I think you've done all you can. So it's interesting. It's an interesting concept. But the question, I mean, going back to what we were talking about.
I want to see Michael Bay's The Little Rascals.
What feels like a mashup is something they announced earlier this week, which is Sofia Coppola doing The Little Mermaid.
Yeah, I saw that. That's weird.
Right? Yeah, that's like, okay, all right. Yeah. I don't know what to picture with that.
I have no idea.
Yeah,
I like her though. I'll say it.
She's I don't think, is that like a thing that's not meant, like,
well,
is that not
somewhere?
I think she's a good filmmaker. I mean,
I think she indulges a little bit, but so help me, I like it.
Here's what I'm going to say about Sofia Coppola. The way in which her career started, where basically every critic on Earth just took a steamer on her head.
Yeah.
For Godfather 3, for her acting in Godfather 3.
Sure.
And let's be fair. I mean, her performance was not great, but I don't think she deserved any of just the pure, just acid-spitting venom that was tossed at her. For her to be able to come back from that, however many years later, and sort of invent an entirely new career where she's respected and almost revered. I mean, good for her.
Sure, for sure. She's obviously talented.
Yeah, exactly. And I mean, that's a tough place to come from. So, to come back from, I should say. So good for her, for that. But moving on, by the way, and very briefly, we don't have a whole lot of Star Wars news to talk about, but I figure, I mean, we have been tracking the development of Episode 7, and Bob Iger gave like a stockholder speech or a shareholder speech to the Disney folks, and he mentioned he dropped a little bit of info about Star Wars Episode 7. Brian, what did he say?
I believe you're talking about that he said the original cast was going to be there, right?
He alluded to that, and he said it'll be set 30 years after.
Oh, yeah. I feel like I keep seeing stuff about casting, and I have no idea. I don't think anything official has been said yet, right?
Not that I know of. I mean, there was talk a few weeks ago about Adam Driver.
Right. Well, and then most recently, Lupita Nyong'o from
That's right.
Years a Slave.
Well, per Iger, I think what he said is that the only cast member we know of as official as of now is R2-D2.
Right.
So even Anthony Daniels, we don't know for certain.
Yeah, but they start shooting soon, so. Man.
Yeah, it's sneaking up on us. It's actually, when you think about it, it's already been a year and a half since the deal was made.
Wow. Oh, wow.
That seems like it comes out next Christmas, right?
It's Christmas of 15.
Yeah.
Yeah, next year. Okay.
Yeah. And we're bumping up against the 15th anniversary of The Phantom Menace.
That's crazy.
Yeah. So I think that's a movie that we're definitely going to have to talk about it.
We're going to have an episode about that.
We're going to have some fun talking about that.
Yeah.
And we'll surprise you with our conversation about the film. I'll go ahead and say it. Regardless, moving on now. Speaking of anniversaries,
I knew it. I knew that's what your segue was going to be. Go ahead.
All right. Well, sorry, Sean, that my segues have now become so predictable.
No, they're not. They're still great. It's fun for me to try to pick out when it's going to happen and how it's going to happen.
Brian, you pointed this out, that 1994, 20 years ago, was kind of a bumper crop of sort of modern classics.
Yes.
And I think part of this is that we were sort of the right age to be exposed to these movies.
Yeah.
But part of this is there's some legitimately great movies.
Yeah. I mean, these are movies that people still reference and talk about and love. 94 was a ripe year.
So one thing that we wanted to start with this episode was to sort of throughout the year, as the fancy strikes us, we'll pick a film that turns 20 this year and kind of give it the movies that matter spotlight. And
some of them are a little more obvious, let's say.
Some more obvious than others. Now we are recording this episode on the 22nd of March, and next week is Brian Hall's birthday.
Yeah, it is.
And so given that, we let Brian pick, and the movies that matter for this episode is, Brian?
Speed.
Dun, 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 dun.
All right, pop quiz. Airport. Gunman with one hostage. He's using her for cover. He's almost to a plane. You're 100 feet away.
What do you think? Shoot the hostage.
What?
Go for the good wound and you can't get to the plane with her. Clear shot.
You're deeply nuts, you know that?
All right, gentlemen, what we have here are 13 passengers in an express elevator. Bomb's already taken out cables. Bomber wants $3 million or he blows the emergency brakes.
Anything else that'll keep this elevator from falling?
The basement.
He can strike anywhere, at any time.
Will the mystery guest please sign in?
Why are they messing with me? Do they think I'm doing this for fun?
For L.A. cop Jack Traven.
Tell me again, Harry, why did I take this job?
Come on, 30 more years of this, you get a tiny pension and a cheap gold watch.
Cool.
The game began.
Very exciting, Jack. Some close calls, huh?
When someone put the city of Los Angeles to the ultimate test.
Pop quiz, hotshot. There's a bomb on a bus. Once the bus goes 50 miles an hour, the bomb is armed. If it drops below 50, it blows up. What do you do? What do you do?
Now.
Are you insured? Yeah, why?
He's the only solution.
We just got a ransom demand from your terrorist. Says he's rigged the city bus. Where's Jack?
Where do you think?
Stay on or get off.
Get off.
This is much better.
Reeves-Sandra Bullock.
Pop quiz. You have a hair trigger aimed at your head. What do you do? What do you do?
Speed. Get ready for rush hour.
I love Speed. Yeah, I really do.
The movie, not the drug.
Both. Oh. I don't even know what Speed is. So, but the movie Speed, yeah, this was actually the first R-rated movie I saw in the theater.
Wow.
Interesting note, which is funny because if you watch it now, it does not feel like an R-rated film at all.
Not one bit, yeah.
No, well, like I think if this movie were to come out now, it'd probably be PG-13
for sure.
But this was a movie. It was directed by Jan de Bont. Let's start there. And Jan de Bont, for people who don't know, he was we would say a prolific cinematographer for a very long time. He did Die Hard. He did Lethal Weapon 3. He did Basic Instinct. He did Leonard Part 6. Just saying. But he was sort of known for having this very... How would you say it? I mean, how would you describe... Sean or Zachy, how would you describe his visual style?
Flary.
He has a lot of lens flares.
Yeah, way before J.J. Abrams was around.
Yeah.
Bont was the master of the lens flare.
Yeah. It's a very... Gosh, I honestly don't even know how to describe it. But like Die Hard, just think of those films. They're very tense. They have a very tense feel to them. Like they're not like movies now are very loose. Like there's like this really shaky feel, like you're kind of on the ground with this person. But these are films that are very intentional in their camera work and in what they allow you to see. There's a lot of rack focus going on, a lot of reveals, a lot of deep focus. You know, because he's telling you exactly where he wants you to look.
Because everything's contained in the frame, you know, like all the information. There's a lot of information in that frame.
Yeah, but he only wants you to look at what he wants you to look at.
Yeah.
You know, and it's sort of an old school style, which is sad to say now. But anyway, so this was his directorial debut because they wanted John McTiernan to direct this movie, which totally makes sense. And,
yeah, it's Die Hard on a bus.
And that's another thing when I was bringing this movie up to you guys. To this day, when people are pitching movies, you know, the log line will be, yeah, it's Die Hard on a ... Die Hard on a boat. It's Die Hard in a motel room. It's Die Hard in a blah, blah, blah. This is one of the few movies that has the log line, it's Die Hard on a ... that actually is really freaking good.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And by saying Die Hard on a ... it's, you got this guy who's the hero, and he's in this tense action scenario that takes place in confined space.
Yeah. You know, one thing I'll say, one other Die Hard on a ... movie that I think turned out pretty good is Under Siege.
I've actually never seen Under Siege.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I have it. I worked for the company that made it, and I have a DVD and shrink wrap somewhere.
I would say that's the only Steven Seagal movie that's even remotely worth a damn.
Yeah, Die Hard on a boat.
Nice. Well, I'll check it out.
Yeah, it's absolutely worth checking out. But anyway,
going to also the filmmakers, talking about that first. This is also kind of interesting. It was written. The credit is written by Graham Yost, who most currently would be associated with the show Justified. Did Boomtown, which is like this little hidden gem that Sean and Zachy and I adore. This short-lived TV show is just freaking excellent. And the thing is, though, and Graham Yost has said this. While he wrote the script, there was a really heavy polish done by Joss Whedon. So basically, most of the dialogue from this movie, and when you know that, it becomes apparent because it's very witty.
Yeah.
You know, all the characters are very distinct. And that's another thing. For being in a confined space, you know, there's all these characters that are in this place. And there's like a thug who thinks that the cop is after him. There's like an old couple.
I didn't mean to shoot the guy.
And they're all very distinct, and they're all very memorable. And Sandra Bullock's character isn't just the girl. I mean, she's very memorable in this movie. And this is the movie, you know, Demolition Man notwithstanding, that really introduced Sandra Bullock to the world.
Yeah.
And now she's Sandra Bullock's. So...
She, by the way, one of her earliest roles was as the new Bionic Woman in a $6 Million Man Bionic Woman reunion movie.
Really?
Yeah. She was like the successor to, you know, Lindsay Wagner. And then, yeah, of course, there's Demolition Man. But yeah, I mean, because she was in this, which just took off, and then she was in The Net the same year.
Oh, wow. Yeah, same year. Yeah. I've talked about that on the show. I won't go on a huge tangent, but I remember that movie. They were showing the internet.
Yeah.
And she ordered a pizza online, and I was like, yeah, right. And then I remember the first time I ordered a pizza online, I was like, well, I'll be damned.
It predicted the future, just like the Tom Selleck thing.
But this was like a watershed moment here for Keanu Reeves. Or I don't know if you call it watershed, but it was like, this was his, like, okay, look, he always played like surfer dude, like aloof guy. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? I mean, people would argue that he continues to, but I'm a fan of Keanu Reeves. I'll say that off the bat here. I like Keanu Reeves, but he was like, Parenthood, Bill and Ted, obviously. He was always kind of like surfer stoner guy. But this was where he was the lead, and I think, that's worked out well for him ever since, really. I mean, he's a leading man now.
Here's a question, Brian.
Yes.
Did Keanu make the movie, or did the movie make Keanu?
I honestly feel like both.
Yeah.
Because I
think they went to like Stephen Baldwin at one point.
Yeah. Yeah. I looked that up. There was like they went out to pretty much everybody. Bruce Willis, Schwarzenegger, blah, blah, blah. Yeah. And they all would have been. I think this movie's so good, it would have been good anyway, honestly. I think the script is really good. We'll get into that a little bit more later. But I really feel like Keanu Reeves, I feel like he is half the movie, honestly. Being sort of this likable, tough guy, but he's not Schwarzenegger.
He's like, you believe that, this sounds stupid, like he's relatable in the sense that you believe that, like, that could be you.
Yeah, he's a cop. He feels like a real cop.
Yeah, like John McTiernan is kind of larger than life. All those Schwarzenegger characters are larger. I'm sorry, yeah, John McClane, larger than life. All those Schwarzenegger characters
John
are larger than
McTiernan,
life.
very human. Yeah.
But like the Keanu character here, he feels like a regular guy, and I think it's like he immediately becomes accessible and relatable to the audience.
Now, is that partially because Keanu Reeves himself is not he's not muscle bound and he's just
I'm sure it's part of it.
Average physique, and I mean not average. I mean he's in good shape, but he's not he's not Hercules.
Yeah.
Right. But
a lot of his character is probably his natural charisma, I'm sure.
Yeah, there's a lot of charm. He's got a lot of charm.
Okay.
But I think what's interesting about this movie is I'm always fascinated with confined space movies. Mm-hmm. And the thing about them, though, is I always feel like they have this really exhausting first act where it's like, okay, we got to set up. Like think of movies like Phone Booth or like Cellular or like that movie Buried with Ryan Reynolds. It's like if we're going to get in one place and keep the character there for the whole movie, you kind of have this really drawn out opening.
Right.
Sort of set up everything and kill some time, frankly, before we lock our character in like this space. But this movie, I feel like, I mean, you could argue. I forgive me, I can't remember who said it, but when you put out on Facebook that we were going to talk about this, someone said it perfectly. The first act is an elevator sequence. Mm-hmm. Second act is the bus, and the third act is the subway.
Yep.
But the thing is. Whereas the first and third act do feel a little bit more like it could be a regular movie because you could still do that, have a whole third act in one location. Where you have the whole second act on the bus, that could be exhausting. And the screenwriting 101 is if you're going to have a scenario, you've got to mine that scenario as deep as you possibly can because otherwise you're just wasting it. Yeah, and I feel like this movie absolutely mines it for everything it's got. I mean, you have, okay, so you're in a bus, and it has to stay above 50 miles per hour, and then you got L.A. rush hour. Mm-hmm. How do you deal with that? And then it's like, okay, well, let's get on the freeway, and then it's like, oh, well, it's a freeway that isn't finished, so there's a big gap in it. How do you deal with that? Then we go to the airport. It's like, then you got to go, they go under the bus, and then he goes under the bus, and then they start losing gas. And it's like no thing wasn't thought of to, like, explore for tension.
Right.
Dealing with being stuck in a bus.
Very quickly, I just want to give credit to that thought, Brian, that you cited. That was my friend Jeff Connell, who I went to film school with, who's smart as a whip and really has a lot of good insights when it comes to movies. So that was an observation that he made. So thank you, Jeff.
Yeah.
But go on. Sorry.
No. Well, anyway, so it's just this is the example of when that genre works. And and I was surprised to find out that this was made for $30 million.
That's amazing.
That's crazy. And then it went on to gross, I thought I wrote it down, but I don't see it. But it was somewhere around it was 120 million. I think.
Yeah, but globally it made 350 million.
Globally, yeah, and domestically with inflation, it came to 240 million, which is nothing to sniff at.
I remember one thing I'll say about Speed, and this was summer of '94 that it came out. It felt like an organic phenomenon.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
In the sense that there wasn't a ton of marketing muscle behind it. It was a new. A fresh concept, it wasn't a sequel or remake or anything like that. And as you guys said, Keanu Reeves was not a Bruce Willis, or he wasn't on that tier of star. So the reception that it got from critics and audiences felt very genuine, and it felt like a discovery.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, a pleasant surprise.
Yeah, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I think that's a big part of what you all are talking about.
Well, Sean, sorry, you haven't.
No, I was just saying this movie, it's pretty amazing how it got made, because it was such a product of sort of everything happening at the right time, like being in the right place at the right time. Because when the movie was originally conceived, and the original pitch was that the bus was just going to circle Dodger Stadium the whole time, and they couldn't get the rights to that. And then, exploring further, they discovered that there's this freeway that isn't finished and it's wide open, so we could film there. And it's just all these things, sort of fell into place so neatly. And I know that the timetable for production of this movie was also very tight. And the script was so, they literally shot and used everything that was in the script except for, I think, one scene. I think on the DVD, there's only one deleted scene for this movie because the script was so tight and the shooting schedule was so tight, they shot and used pretty much everything. And I just remember at the time thinking this, what you touched on earlier about this movie hitting us at the right time at that age, because summer of 94, I was 15 going on 16, and this felt like an action movie for me. As much as I loved the Die Hard movies and the Schwarzenegger movies and Rambo and all that kind of stuff, those still sort of felt like they belonged to my dad in a way. Huh. And this felt like something new and fresh, like it was an action movie for me, because the style was a little different, and just the acting and the rhythm of the characters, everything was just a little different and a little cooler and a little just fresh, I guess is a word you can use. And just thinking all right, this is the start of something new here. And then Bad Boys came out summer of 95, right?
Bad Boys would have been 95. That's right. Yeah.
Yeah, and I think Bad Boys borrowed a lot of Michael Bay has his own style, but I think the sort of sensibility of a film like Speed, where it's it's built around being cool, but not in a stupid way, stuff that. It's not trying to be cool. It just is cool.
It just is.
See, where I would distinguish Jan de Bont as a director from Michael Bay is I feel like de Bont is more naturally. I'm trying to find the right phrase here, but there's a showiness to Michael Bay that feels artificial.
Mm-hmm.
Sure.
And I think de Bont is very skilled at making his films feel very natural, even as they're depicting usually kind of heightened reality.
Right.
That's just my impression,
Building off that, this is such a small thing, but one of my favorite shots in the movie, even though it isn't the most showy shot, but I love it, the feel of it, the kineticism of it, is there's a part where they have to take this hard right turn, and they can't go below 50 or the bus will blow up. So what they do is they get all the passengers on one side of the bus to try to create some weight. And they have cops, blocking everything so they can do this. So anyway, they take this really hard turn, and the bus tilts to, its left side, I believe. And there's this one shot where you see the bus. It's almost on close-up, so you can't even see the whole bus. And it's tilted on its side, half of it hanging up in the air, and these two police motorcycles just go whim, whim, right in front of the bus. And it's this little nothing shot, but at the same time, it just adds this really I say the word grounded too much, and I don't want to say grounded, but it's just all I can think of is kineticism. You're just damn, what am I looking at? It feels so tangible. That tangible is what I'm looking for.
It's a dance. It's a dance that he orchestrates with.
Yeah,
with
but
shots,
it's exactly what you just said. It's stylized, but it's not showy.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's just creating a reality for something that's crazy. And that shot specifically is what I love about the style of that movie. So look it up, folks.
Well, okay, so I want to carry this discussion forward because I think that Speed.
I meant that shot, not the movie.
I think your impression of Speed improves greatly when you compare it to the sequel.
Yeah, which I've never made it all the way through, to be honest.
Yeah.
Okay, so the sequel came out 3 years later. The biggest gap, the biggest void is the fact that Keanu Reeves said, "I'm not doing the sequel. I have to tour with my band Dogstar." Right? And at the time, everyone was like, "Are you out of your mind?"
Yeah.
And it turns out he was just the smartest man on earth.
Yeah.
Right? Maybe unintentionally. And what's interesting there is that they were like, all right, Keanu Reeves is gone, no problem. We've still got Sandra Bullock, which I think partially tells how big of a star she became after the first Speed.
Yeah.
But the other thing is that they were like, let's replace Keanu Reeves' role in the narrative with Jason Patric. And I'm not going to, I'm sure Jason Patric's a nice guy, and he's even a good actor. He's not a star.
Yeah, but to his credit, he did try hard in this movie, and
that
does
should have been the title, Try Hard.
Try hard. Yeah, that's good.
Also considering he did all his own stunts and everything too, like he tried to make the most of his opportunity.
I think part of it was a horrible script. Part of it was he doesn't have the charisma, you know.
Right.
And again, I feel bad saying it. It's not like Jason Patric listens to the show, and I like Jason Patric as an actor, but he's not a leading man. I think he's a very good character actor.
Yeah.
But why? Here's my question: why is the Speed sequel almost exactly as bad as the original Speed is good?
Because they try. It's
trying too hard.
They try too hard. And like, for example, you have Glenn Plummer, who's the guy in the first Speed, the guy driving the Jaguar. That Keanu hops in the car and. That's how he gets on the bus, is he's able to jump from that guy's car onto the bus. Like he just happens to be
right.
a passenger. Yeah. It's like, oh, like this guy again.
What are the odds of that?
Yeah, like that's a good place to start with how this movie went wrong.
Well, and Dennis Hopper, right?
Yeah.
I mean, he was an amazing villain in the first one. And
no offense to Willem Dafoe, who's a talented guy, but he was really out of place and had some poorly written dialogue for him. He was a cartoon character basically in the second.
Yeah, I think that's a good point. I mean, I would actually put Dennis Hopper in terms of the creepiness and just overall, like Dennis Hopper keeps the character just on this side of realistic, right? He doesn't become a James Bond villain,
right?
And in that sense,
James Bond. Yeah.
Yeah, he's very Gruber-esque in that there's this conniving, scheming aspect of him, you know?
Yeah.
And it really, like, it kind of feels like I mean, to be honest, like, I forget that, Dennis Hopper's gone. Like, he's not around anymore, you know?
Yeah.
Like, we forget that. But that's probably one of his last great performances, I would say.
Yeah.
And bear in mind, this was on the heels of Super Mario Brothers, where he played King Koopa.
That happened.
That's a thing. I brought that up in one of my classes the other day, and honest to God, they were like, "We don't believe you." I'm like, "I'm telling you, this movie exists.
Yeah,
it's a thing."
It's funny how even like bad movies sort of like live on in some way. Some bad movies, but that movie, like nobody references that movie. That movie does not come up in conversation. It made no dent on culture.
It's gloriously terrible.
I've never seen it.
They failed so spectacularly.
Yeah.
That that movie, they should write poems about it, you know. because it's just wrong on so many levels, you know.
We should give going back to Speed. We should give props to Mark Mancina, who does an excellent job with the film score.
Yeah, good score.
The theme of Speed is really, really good.
Yeah.
I actually just got the score just a couple months ago, actually, the complete score.
Oh.
And
I only have selected tracks, so I may have to bum that from you.
Oh, okay. Well, there we go.
Bum it.
Yeah.
This is another thing I looked up I thought was interesting. I read about, one of the famous moments in that movie is when there's a gap in the freeway, so the bus has to jump it. So I read this little piece here. This is what I read here. A special bus was used for the bus jump scene. The bus was modified so that it could reach a speed of 70 miles per hour and is equipped with powerful shock absorbers. The driver's seat was moved back 15 feet so that if something went wrong, the driver wasn't ejected from the bus. The seat itself was a suspension mechanism between the ceiling and the bus floor to avoid the driver from suffering spinal compression on impact. My point? They actually jumped a bus on the freeway. It wasn't CGI. It wasn't, something made in a computer. They figured out how to get a dude to jump a bus.
And going further on that, the first time they jumped the bus, the landing was too smooth. So they had to do it again because he did a perfect job the first time. Don't joke. And then the second time,
how would you like to be?
And the stunt driver, bit the tip of his tongue off on the landing.
Ooh. Oh, dang. That was the second time?
Yeah.
Oh, man, how pissed off do you think that guy was?
Don't the bump.
But, going back, what you're talking about with Need for Speed and what Brian just said, they actually did it.
That's why it feels the way it feels.
Mm-hmm.
That's why it looks the way it looks, So
okay, now before Speed came out, we had a whole mess of Die Hard on a fill in the blank, right? That was the whole thing, and Speed was just a part of that. How come in the 20 years since we really haven't gotten an action movie comparable to Speed?
Yeah, when I was thinking about the whole Die Hard on a ... I was like, even Die Hard can't make a Die Hard anymore. Right. You know what I mean? What's holding it back? You know what I think it is, honestly? And I think this isn't just to answer this specific question. I feel like movies try too hard now.
Mm-hmm.
Because with special effects, the way that they are, we can literally do anything now in a movie. And so it's like you have to outdo the movie that came before you. And I don't think anyone cares.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Special effects aren't necessarily special anymore because I've seen it all. So I think with Speed, the bus doesn't jump off the freeway and then land on top of a semi truck and then roll down a thing and then spin over and then Keanu's on top of it. Something ludicrous like that. You just can't latch on to something like that. Speed, as ridiculous as it is, and I'm not saying it could happen, but it presents it that could happen. That whole movie, and having likable characters and scenarios where we don't know what's going to happen next, but they're realistic scenarios, like when the bus hits that baby carriage. Remember that?
Yeah.
And you're like, holy crap! It just hit a baby carriage. It's just cans. But it's all stuff that's very, very down to earth, as heightened as it is. And I think that's something that people can latch onto mentally, whether they're thinking about it or not. And I feel like now people would just try too hard to make something just too bonkers. And it's okay, yeah.
Cool. And nowadays it's all built around, the gimmick. And the Fast and Furious movies, I think, have become an exception because they've increasingly gotten better. But basically the gimmick is I want to see, fast cars and cool stunt work. And with Speed, it's the premise is not a gimmick. It's not just a movie about a bus that can't slow down. It's a movie about, this bomber guy who plants a bomb on a bus, and Keanu Reeves has to get on this bus that can't slow down. So what does he do? He commandeers this civilian's car, and he gets on the bus. And what happens on the bus? There's this thug who thinks that he's there for him, and the scuffle happens, and the bus driver accidentally gets shot. So then somebody else has to drive the bus, and they also have this wounded guy. And it becomes this thing, and it's one thing after another, and it's this giant or very organic snowball effect of these wild and crazy events that, as unbelievable as it sounds, it's incredibly believable.
Yeah. Think about where Die Hard is at now. John McClane is surfing Harrier jets.
Yeah.
Yeah. His freeways are collapsing around him. It's what?
Yeah.
But the most harrowing thing that Keanu Reeves does in this movie is he is on that little mechanical car and goes underneath the bus to try to defuse the bomb. And it's freaking scary because you're your foot could get caught in something. It's like realistic, tangible tension.
Mm-hmm.
And captured by Jan de Bont in a very, And
it's such a well-cast movie, too. Like, you like those supporting people.
I remember all of them.
Yeah. When Ortiz has to pull him out from under the bus and they hug, it's like, that is a great moment in that movie.
Grab my legs.
I got him.
Yeah, and Alan Ruck is the tourist, who's kind of
Alan Ruck, he's great.
He's kind of annoying, but you still kind of like him.
Did you know that the gum scene that was improvised by Sandra Bullock?
Oh, really?
Yeah, she had they had to find a way for her to get away, and I guess she was just supposed to rudely walk away, but she came up with that on the spot. That's the whole gum thing. So
that's funny.
Yeah.
Nice. Well, I think that's a good place to segue into our quiz for this week.
Ooh.
And Sean, I believe you're the quiz dispenser for this episode.
Yes. And I'd like to just point this out. I'm not going to be some lazy ass Zachy Ghostbusters quiz where I just have.
Wait, are you dismissing or discrediting my win last week?
No.
That's cold, man.
I'm not discrediting the win, but it's like you can't just have the IMDb trivia page open.
I didn't. None of those questions came from the IMDb page.
They were all on the IMDb trivia page.
Well, I didn't have the IMDb page pulled up. I'm not kidding. I'm shocked and dismayed by that accusation.
You're something else. All right.
Well, and yet you lost. It's worth pointing that out.
Yeah, I take no shame in that. Brian won fair and square. I'm just saying, put a little thought into it next time.
Put a little thought into it.
I'm just fun. All right, so avatars. Let's pick characters from Speed. Let's pick supporting characters from the bus.
I'm gonna be Gigantor.
Oh damn! That's the only name of the guy I know. I'll be the guy. Who's the guy who tries with the gun? What's his name? Who else?
Sam. Bus driver's name is Sam.
Sam. I'll be Sam.
All right. Sam and Gigantor.
There you go. Sam's the driver here.
All right. Speed quiz. Question number 1. On what floor did they rescue the elevator hostages?
That's a good question. Sam.
Yes.
23rd.
That's absolutely right.
Are you kidding me?
No, I swear. Yeah.
Wow.
Get out of here.
No, I'm not.
I have everything.
Wow. All right. Maybe I've seen this movie a million times, so maybe subconsciously it's up there somewhere.
Well, this isn't a question, but this was a fun fact that the bus number is 2525.
Yeah.
Because 25 and 25 equals 50. The bus can't go.
Oh, I never noticed that.
Above 50. Yeah.
Oh, that's funny.
All right. Question number 2. Howard Payne was a police officer from what city?
Ugh. Wow, you really should have watched it.
Gigantor.
Go ahead.
New York.
Incorrect.
Sam.
You're on the right coast, though. Yes.
Oh, that changes what I was about to say. Long Island?
Nope.
Gigantor.
Yes.
New Jersey.
No.
Oh, brother. I don't know.
Southeast somewhere.
Southeast?
Yeah, you can chime in too, Zaggy.
I could not even begin to guess.
I was just there.
Gigantor.
I heard a Sam.
Ooh, Atlanta.
Yes, Atlanta.
Atlanta PD.
Here's another fun fact.
Crappy gold watch. And I'm sorry about your hand.
Here's a fun fact. When the bus crashes into the plane at the end of the movie, the company logo on the plane is Pacific Courier, which was the same name as the truck that the terrorists arrive in Die Hard. Which means that the Pacific Courier Company, Die Hard and Speed exist in the same universe. So it's pretty cool.
Hey, by the way, speaking of same universe, did you hear the theory about how Frozen and Tangled and Little Mermaid all exist in the same universe?
Oh, dude, did I ever show you the blog that guy did? That he tries to prove how all the Pixar movies are connected?
Yeah, that same guy did that.
The same guy.
Yeah.
And everything is in Tommy Westfall's autism-induced brain. from St. Elsewhere, if you guys know.
That's funny.
All right, question number 3. What color wire does Jack cut when he's under the bus?
Oh, man. You think I'd remember that? Sam?
Yeah.
Green.
Green is correct.
Whoa!
Question number 4. You still there, Zachy?
No, I'm actually going to lie down and take a nap while you go through the rest of these.
Question number 4. This superheroine was originally offered the role of Annie.
Gigantor.
Yes.
Helen Slater?
Helen Slater.
This future superheroine, like, I need context.
She has been, she's portrayed a superhero.
Sam.
Ooh, Gigantor.
Sam.
Halle Berry.
It was Halle Berry, yeah.
Oh. I was going to say that. I hate you.
Did you read in the trivia that Ellen DeGeneres, they were going
I was just going to read that, yeah.
I read that. What? I couldn't believe it.
The script was actually written with Jeff Bridges, Ellen DeGeneres in mind, and Ed Harris for the Jeff Daniels role.
Jeff Daniels is perfect.
He's so good. By the way, I feel like by the time I saw this movie, I was already like, knowledgeable enough to be like, oh, Jeff Daniels is toast.
Yeah.
Right.
You know what I mean? So I like,
because something has to make it personal.
Right. But I feel like we were too young to be that in tune.
Nah, it's been in us the whole time.
It's the power. Yeah.
All right, question number 5. Another quick fun fact. You mentioned John McTiernan was originally considered. Rennie Harlin and Quentin Tarantino both turned down the opportunity to direct Speed.
Wow.
Tarantino was offered to direct? Wow.
Yeah, but he
hadn't even made Pulp Fiction at that point.
He went on record.
But you've been Reservoir Dogs.
He went on record a couple of years, or years later, saying that Speed was one of his 20 favorite films of all time. It's kind of cool.
Yeah.
All right. Question number 5. 2 actors in this film also appear in the movie Twister. Alan Ruck is one. Name the other. And you don't have to give me the actor's name, but just tell me the character that he plays.
I don't know.
Any guesses?
Gotta think of Twister here.
No idea.
Let me think. It's Sam?
Yeah.
Joe Morton?
No. I'll give this one to you. It's at the beginning. Thanks for pushing that button, Bob. Shut up. It's the young guy that pushes the button that tells the other guy to shut up.
Yeah, I remember that. I don't remember who that guy is.
The actor's name is Patrick Fischler, but he plays one of Cary Elwes' scientist guys in Twister. Yeah.
Well, I'm glad I got the first 4.
Well, you want to hear the full list of people that turned down the role of Annie?
Yeah. Only if you do it in the style of Billy Joel's "We Didn't Start the Fire."
Okay. Here we go. Glenn Close, Barbara Hershey, Jessica Lange, Meryl Streep, Sigourney Weaver, Jane Seymour, Angelica Houston, Kay Lenz, Kim Basinger, Halle Berry, Kathleen Turner, Deborah Winger, Gina Davis, Carrie Fisher, Melanie Griffith, Michelle Pfeiffer, Emma Thompson, Rosanna Arquette, Meg Tilly, Daryl Hannah, Meg Ryan, 2, Jennifer Jason Leigh, Ali Sheedy, Demi Moore, Jodie Foster, Tatum O'Neill, Bridget Fonda, Marissa Tomei, Diane Lane, Sarah Jessica Parker, Bruce Steele, Julia Roberts, Winona Ryder, Cameron Diaz, and Alyssa Milano.
I can't take it anymore.
Cast and Speed.
Well, think about it. If all those people hadn't turned that movie, that was awesome, by the way. That was awesome. If all those people hadn't turned that down, we might not have Sandra Bullock.
True.
I mean,
I don't think she would have blinked out of existence.
But I mean, that's just the thing, and that's the thing that I've learned, like being more in tune with Hollywood and all that stuff. It's like people say this, but it's totally true. Like amazing scripts do not happen a lot. You know what I mean? So it's one thing for an actor to get a good script at all, but it's another thing for a good script to come to an actor. You know what I mean? So it's like Sandra Bullock could have been in crap for like a couple years, and it's not her fault. Obviously, we know what she's capable of and being liked by everybody in America. But if she had never gotten that role that got to showcase her the way that it did, she might not have had that opportunity. You know? So, good for her.
Very true. So the lesson is stay in school, kids.
Stay in school. Yeah. Don't do drugs.
On that note, we have bumped right up against our time for this episode. Yes. So why don't we go ahead and wrap things up? Brian, where can people find you online?
Wait, who won the quiz?
I'm pretty sure it was you, Brian.
Oh, okay.
I
you can find me at
0. So
now you can find me at everythingbrian.blogspot.com, Brian with an I. And
are you on
at
Twitter?
everythingbrian. Twitter.
There you go. Sean, how about you?
I can be found at moosehub.com and MrBoyProductions.com. You can find all of us. And you can find us all at moviefilmpodcast at gmail.com, right? Yes. And moviefilmpodcast.com and facebook.com/moviefilmpodcast.
This is Sean's NPR voice.
Everyone loves his shreddy balls.
Today's broadcast has been brought to you by In-N-Out Burger.
That's
all
what
right.
Hamburgers are all about.
And, of course, you can find me at Zackie'sCorner.com. That's ZAKIS Corner. And also at the Huffington Post, where my reviews go up every week, and also where this podcast goes up. And you can also find me on Twitter at Zackie's Corner. Sean, are you on Twitter?
Wait, no, I'm not on Twitter. I will never be on Twitter.
All right. Sean is not on Twitter, but I am, so you can definitely check it out. By the way, I hit 1,000 followers last week, so now my opinion officially matters more than yours.
Yeah, that means.
So.
Hit 79,000 more and you'll match that cat.
That's right. That's right. That's eyes on the prize. Eyes on the prize. On behalf of my colleagues, Sean Coyle and Brian Hall, my name is Zackie Hassan. This is the Movie Film Podcast. Join us next time when we talk about Captain America, the Winter Soldier. Look for a spoiler-filled and fun discussion about that. We will see you next time.
We'll go